Yo, what's going on, guys? Jared here. Today, I'm going to be giving you guys a deck profile and a little bit of theory for the deck I was going to be playing at YCS Richmond. Well, I don't want to confirm that I was going to play this. It was in consideration, heavily in consideration for what I was going to play at YCS Richmond. And I'm going to explain my reasoning in a little bit in a second. Yeah, I was planning on going, as I've talked about before, but I had a family emergency come up, so I'm not going to be able to attend YCS Richmond anymore. So overall, I hope you guys do well if you're there. Enjoy it, have fun, but I will not be there to be able to see you. So yeah, moving on. Um, Overall, the deck that I wanted to play for YCS Richmond was going to have three copies. I wanted to guarantee play the best like cards in general, right? So cards like Fenrir, cards like the Star and Wanted, be able to play SP Little Knight. And the reason is just because the quality of those cards is so good. Not, and I think it's better than all the other cards that we've had, and they're so generic and unrestrictive. So you get to do a lot more and free play a lot more, if that makes sense. So whether I was trying to figure out some kind of deck that could either use it with like a runic variant or a sprite variant or just like the rescue ace deck if I really was just bored. But this is ultimately what I think I was going to probably land on, because I think this is what I, one, enjoy the most, and two, I think can do the most at the same time with playing through hand traps and playing around talents and thrust and stuff like that. So that's just my little take on this YCS upcoming. And you could also switch it around to play thrusts for like lightning storms and duster to try to counter rescue ace a little bit, so you get a little bit more variety and can play less, but then give more variety with some one-ofs. Things like Herald of the Abyss, duster, like I just said, or lightning storm for like labyrinth, and then like the Herald of the Abyss for Pearly. So yeah, like deck building is like really like important right now, I would say. I guess if I was to sum it up in a very brief thing, that deck building right now, one, is very hard, and two, is very important because of how wide the format is. So you want cards that do a lot for a little and are very widespread. But just enough of that. If you guys enjoy the deck profile and the like conversation I have with it and the explanations, please subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it. And yeah, if you guys take this to Richmond, or no, a build like this to Richmond or anything like that, let me know how you do. I'm actually curious. But yeah, so let's just jump right into it. Okay, guys, so as you can see, I was going to play Infernoble Knight. Well, again, I was in consideration to play Infernoble Knight. And Infernoble has changed a lot over the last couple of, let's say, weeks, with the introduction of Age of Overlord, the Bellstar package. It makes it very almost like free flowy, and I'll show you what I mean in a minute. And it's also the reason why a lot of the deck building choices in here are a little weird. So like it's actually like one-ofs for the Infernoble Knight monsters, for like all of them, in fact, because you don't need more than that. So as you can see, like for all the actual Fire Warrior monsters, we're just playing one because that's all you need for each combo. And then you have the one that can recycle them back in, that is Magius, and then get a draw to be able to do another combo in the next turn too. So you don't really need any more than this. You also have two hand extenders that are searchable with Durandal. Renaud's only used in the 2 warrior combo, so if you're doing a different line with something like Angelica, you actually aren't even going to use Renaud, so you can just use this as an extender. In some other combos, it's very free. This is what I mean by free flowy in a way. It's weird, but I promise you, it's solid. Gearfried is obviously still a very strong card, and yeah. I was playing 3 of this for the Fire Flame. I still like, I don't know, like I like 3. I see everyone playing 1, but like I play 1 for deck room. It wasn't even because I wanted to play 1. Yeah. And then I'm still on Connector. It's so hard to cut this package. I wasn't playing it for a while, but then when I looked at the deck list, there's no dedicated normal summon in this deck, because I'm playing one of for all the Infernoble Knights. Like I'm not playing even 3 Ogier. So like 3 Connector and the Dolphin just ended up making sense for this reason of it being like, boom, 4 normal summons, 5th one can be Ogier, and then it's like, okay, cool, you have 5 really solid normal summons. in this build, so I think it works out. By the way, this build is like 46 or 45 cards. I want to preface that already. It is so hard to make room in this deck now, but it's consistent because there's so many searchers. So that's another reason why it's so important to be playing the Connector and the Dolphin, because you want to play around Droll. Sometimes it's in the main deck for people, so you just want to be able to dodge it if you can. I'm going to go into the some of the packages now. And the first one is going to be the Bellstar package, or the Sinful Soils package, which is going to be 1 Black Witch, 1 Original, and then 3 Wanteds. These cards are really, really good. And the reason they're so good, especially in this deck, like obviously they're really good, right? Like there's going to be a draw with the original, so like it's a body and a draw. But at the same time, if you get stuffed in some combos, you're able to use this line and be able to summon either the Ricargetto, the Renaud, or the Fire Flint Lady to continue your plays. So if you have a Fire Warrior, it's level 4, aka Turpin, Ogier, or Magius in the graveyard, you can original for Ricargetto, summon Angelica, and then that'll be full combo regardless with any of these. That's just full combo. You are also able to make Isolde if you were super stuffed and you couldn't even try to play in the beginning, like if they Ash Connector, and you can still keep going from there. And yeah, you have a lot of ways to keep going. So if you see these as, well, not this one by itself, but these 4 as straight extenders, it's much stronger, and also can be an extender that could also go into a 1-card Angelica. So very, very strong. And then the other package that I was playing is 3 copies of Kashtira Fenrir, and then 1 copy of Riseheart, which I somehow don't have right now. I had a Kashtira deck, but I don't know where the Riseheart is. I must have like gotten rid of them, but yeah, I'm just gonna find a Riseheart later. But yeah, this is 1 Kashtira Riseheart, Fire Warrior level 4. That's what matters. So the Fenrir is 1 a going second card, which is great because going into boards, Fenrir's like one of the best cards we have. And again, whatever deck I wanted to play, I wanted to be able to I wanted them to be able to play both of these. And being able to search a Fire Warrior monster is also huge, right? Because now you can do a lot of cute lines without even normal summoning. You can go like Fenrir, get Riseheart, Wanted, Diabellstar, pitch the Riseheart, original, send Diabellstar, summon Ricargetto, bring back the Riseheart, and then those 2 go into Angelica or Isolde and do a full Noble Knight combo, and you didn't even normal summon in that line, right? Like you got to Isolde or Angelica, and you didn't even normal summon. That is crazy and really, really strong. And you also got a lot of pressure in the battle phase if you're going second. Just a lot of good stuff going for it. So I like this package a lot, and I'm enjoying it. Yeah, so that's it for all the other engines, I would say. Lastly, just for really quickly, is the hand traps. I'm going to put them with the going second cards over here with the Fenrirs, which is just 3 copies of Veiler, 3 copies of Ash, and 3 copies of Imperm. I just think game 1, these are fine. I don't think I need more. Currently, at least, with how the format is, this pretty much hits everything I wanted to hit. Make sure you Veiler Imperm on Turbulent Summon. Do not chain it to the effect if they did not use Emergency yet, or else you will just get punished very hard. So just keep that in mind. Ashing Emergency is probably your best bet in that deck, in that matchup. There's a little piece of information for you. And yeah. Hand traps can change. This is always switchable, but I think these going second cards are pretty solid. I don't really see the need to do more currently, at least. And they hit everything enough to where it could affect the end board. Moving on a little bit, I'm just going to make some room for some other stuff, is the actual spell cards, because this is an Infernoble list, so we need to have spell cards in here, of course. 3 copies of Museum. This card is still really, really good. Not once per turn search, not once per turn extender. Like, insane. And then for the equip spells, 1 copy of Joyce. I am still a Living Fossil fan. I know people play DDR. I am just a fan of Living Fossil. I don't like discarding. I know if you have Divine Sword, it's free, but like I don't like having to depend on it. I would rather open up with a Living Fossil rather than open up with a Divine Sword. That's just or with a DDR. That's just my opinion. But again, that's just me. Yeah. So then 1 Angelic Ring. This card is very. I am not sold on this card. And the reason being was, 1, you have to equip it to something which is already equipped with a card, which is, I know it's not bad, but like if you take away this card in this deck, it does the same thing, and it also plays around Talents and Thrusts perfectly fine without this card. This card's purpose is to beat Dark Ruler. So I almost want to just cut this completely, put it to the side deck, right? And then in games 2 and 3, or not even that, just games 2 and 3, only going first, you put it back in, and then this is just for Dark Ruler now, right? And it just doesn't even matter. Yeah, I don't know. It's good, don't get me wrong, it's another interruption on the end board, but like drawing it is just terrible. You don't want it in any other scenario other than dumping it with Roland or Charles or Ogier or Isolde or anything like that. Like if you draw it, it's just not fun. Almace, again, just more Durandal pretty much. Divine Sword and 3 Durandal. I barely even like Divine Sword, but these two are necessary for combo with just 2 warriors. So again, I've showed that combo before, but so you are like obliged to play these. Same thing with Joyous, that also ends to the end board. Yeah, so that's it for those. And then lastly, for like consistency cards, again, I'll put it with the museum, is 3 Heritage of the Chalice and 1 Rhoda. And again, this is just for consistency. We need to be able to search our connector or whatever piece we need. Most of these pieces you can search and bring them out, and it doesn't really affect your lines too much. If you draw the Recargetto, you can use original Sinful Spoils to bring out the Fire Flint out the Recargetto from the hand, and it's the same thing. It's not that big of a deal. You can like manipulate these cards very well with this deck, which is nice. It's a big bonus with it. And then lastly, I play 1 Call by the Grave. Draw Lockbird's still kind of around, and Ash Blossom and Veiler are just kind of like annoyances. So Call by the Grave can really save your tail for a lot of stuff. And like I said, the reason I was going to play this deck is because I think it has a very, very strong going second board, or going first board, I mean, with the Double Charles and Gearfried and Angel Ring and all these things. I think it's like impossible to beat. It's so hard to beat that board. And it also is gets to play all the cards I wanted to play. But other than that, moving on to the extra deck. This is going to be a little weird, but I play 3 copies of Isolde right now. And the reason being is the combos where you do we have to link off the Isolde and the Dempsey to go into another link. I actually just prefer it to be, because you're already playing 2 Isolde, and then this spot would be that warrior that pops something in the battle phase, or like anything like that. But the problem is it can't be IP because you're using a link monster, and it has to point downward. So it can't be SP because SP points to the left and right. So it's a big problem with that. So I just would rather it be another Isolde, because then in that combo you use 2 Isoldes, and then for that line, and then if they somehow break the board or they stop you later on in that combo, you still have an extra Isolde to be able to combo on the following turn. Or if they stop one Isolde, and then you can push through with the second one, and then you still have one for the following turn. It just this card, I just always want access to it if the game goes on for more than a couple of turns. Charles, again, this is like the anti-thrust and talents cards, so I love this card. I think he's so good. SP Little Knight, best Link 2 that we have right now next to the Isolde in this deck. The amount of utility that this card brings is like next to none. It's insanity, the fact of how much this card can do, but that's besides the point. And 1 copy of Appaloosa. This is for the combo that plays around Nibiru. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go on DB Grinder's channel, and he has post Agov combos, and there's a combo in Infernoble now that plays around Nibiru, with Diabell's, I think it's Diabellstar plus Museum, if I recall correctly, and you get to play around Nib with that. And it's very, very strong, and it's something you should know. So please look that up. This is a deck where you can't just, you really can't just pick it up and then just be like, yep, I know what I'm doing. Like, you really this is a deck you have to put work for. This is like, you have to put the work in for Infernoble, because there's so many different lines and combos that do different things and play around different things, and you can modify it a little bit, but it just always it's very, very good if it's played properly. One copy of Charles, just need one to be able to go into the other Charleses. Two Angelica, you have a backup. If she stopped once, you have another one. It's fine. You can also shuffle. You can also like shuffle a lot of these cards back with Magius. A lot of the times, like I'll like on some of the crackbacks, I'll use Magius to shuffle like double Charles back and this Charles, and then you can just like redo the combo again, which is kind of funny. So yeah, it's cute. One copy of Baron, which you can make again with the Charles or Gear Free, depending on how your combo goes. One copy of Roland, part of the combo. And then for the extra exceeds, I have Dempsey, Dweller, and Tifon. This was Zeus for a little bit, but Zeus comes up so little, and I just don't feel it ever coming up really that much. And if I'm going second, I want like my random bodies to do something, like being able to go like Fenrir, Diabell Star, try to play, they might interrupt it. Then like you could slap this over the Diabell Star, and it's like, okay, like this is like at least something. You can go like Fenrir attack ban or something, attack with the Typhon, and then like use the Tifon to spin something back, and then you at least outed like 4 cards in that line, and you know you could try to like stop them hopefully in the following turn. So that's just my opinion on it, but yeah, of why this is here. This extra deck, like I don't know, this is just what I like personally. There's always like there's so many ways you can play this deck. I have another completely different build of this deck that I was considering, but I think it's just a little worse than this one, and it's not even by a lot. It's like such a little bit, but it's a I'll just tell you what it is. It's a Ken and Gen build that play Talons and Thrust and Change of Heart and Mind Control in the main deck, and you are doing the 2 Warrior combo, but you also have the benefit of playing the Go Second cards with Ken and Gen. Again, you have Thrust and Talons and stuff, so you have a decently better going second time in that build than you do this one. But the problem is Ken and Gen are also normal summons so you have to cut Connector, and then you lose even harder to other cards like Droll and Lockbird, and yeah, it's not bad. Again, it's just a little worse than this in my opinion right now in this format. There might be a format later where it's better, but again, currently I just think this is better. Yeah. So overall, I hope you guys enjoyed the profile and the explanations. I think I explained everything pretty well. And yeah, again, this card is also not needed, by the way. If you've been playing Infernoble Knight and you think you like absolutely need this card, you don't. Like, you really don't. If you're not playing at like the highest tier event, and like the card, you really don't. These are like such minuscule options for like 10% scenarios where these come up. So don't think like these are the cards that are gonna like will hold you back at this deck, because it's not. These are not needed in this deck. They're just bonuses for the highest competitive tier of Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah. But again, I hope you guys enjoyed and the explanations and stuff like that. If you enjoyed, please subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And enjoy YCS Richmond. I hope everyone can do the best that they can and learn something. So have fun, enjoy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.